The breakdown you're about to watch is brought to you by We Want Picks Premium Membership. Premium membership gets you all sorts of exclusive content, early bets, fantasy tools, and betting guides. Check it out now, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. Get ahead of these betting lines and get access to all of the tools now with an optimizer. We have a DraftKings optimizer available to you at the same low price of $10 a month. That's $2.50 a week. You get all of our bets early, all of our fantasy content early. You get betting tools and now a DraftKings optimizer, DraftKings ownership, and everything you need to build now up to 150 lineups with just a few clicks. WeWantPicks.com at the top. Click Become a Member. It is only $10 a month. All right, $10 a month. You have one good week. You pay for the whole year. WeWantPicks.com at the top. Click Become a Member. And as always, if you want $50, all you need to do is go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our betting partners. Make a deposit, and I will send you $50 as a thank you. That's WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit. I'll send you $50. Next up at UFC 278, we have Aoriqileng taking on Perrin. Aoriqileng's 24-11 overall. He's only 3-2 in his last 5, and he is coming off his first UFC win. Perrin is 3-2 in his last 5 as well, looking for his first UFC win. Aoriqileng is a well-rounded guy with incredible pressure and pace. He can fight a technical fight or brawl to the bell. He uses his striking to set up takedowns, and we have seen him do a little bit of everything. He was able to get out and, he was able to out-grapple Jeff Molina. He got 3 takedowns in that fight, and that was a fight of the night. It was a loss. But then we saw him outstrike Cody Durden. That was also a loss, but he was taken down 5 times in that fight. And the point being is we've seen him outstrike people. We've seen him outgrapple people. He is coming off his first UFC win, though, with a KO over Cameron Elsay in the first round where he had a takedown and he landed 5 times the amount of strikes. He's got solid footwork, solid movement, and a very sturdy chin. Perrin is coming off a loss to Mario Batista, where he stepped up on short notice to make his UFC debut. And stepping up on short notice and making your UFC debut is something that I do factor in when I watch the tape. I look back. You can't just go by Tapology and say, oh, he lost to this guy. You got to factor those things in. Short notice is already tricky for some guys, and then UFC debut is tricky. You put those together, that definitely needs to be considered. Stylistically, he's a well-rounded guy who's primarily looking to wrestle. He comes forward with strikes, and then he shoots. He almost never gets his first shot, so he ends up spending a lot of time against the cage and working from there. When he gets you to the ground, he's looking for ground and pound, and he isn't necessarily chasing submissions for the most part. And it's an interesting matchup because Aoriqileng is definitely the more powerful fighter, definitely the better striker, and it's not like Perrin is a stud wrestler, but Perrin can literally hold people against the cage for 25 minutes and win boring decisions. I do think Aoriqileng works off the cage and lets his hands go for his second UFC win. Right now, he's at -170. When I did this on Quick Picks video, he was -155. So it's already -170. I updated these at noon today. So he went from
-155 right now. Yep.
He went from -190 on Sunday to -155. So that's tightening, and frankly, if it tightens even more, I may throw a couple bucks on him because I like Aoriqileng to win this fight. I think he should be a decent favorite. I think he's a solid guy, and I think he's the better fighter here. What do you think, Shaky Boy?
Yeah, I think he's a completely different fighter now that he's at 135. I think that was the biggest difference to the way he fought, because he was at 125 and obviously he dropped a couple fights. But even at 125, he was more of a decision fighter. And when you watch that last fight that he fought, it's like, how the hell does this dude have so many decisions the way that he throws strikes? Because he's a big, powerful dude at 135. I don't even know how he made 125. That makes all the difference in the world. When I watch this matchup, I think it's gonna be the difference of pressure. Whoever is able to dictate the pressure of this fight is gonna win. Because you saw Jay in his last fight. I know it's short notice against Batista, but when he was able to pressure Batista, he had some real success. But when Batista was able to flip that script and pressure him, he really didn't have an answer for that. So if the Mongolian murderer is able to pressure and put Jay on his back foot, it could be more of the same. But I think I actually like the underdog here. 2 fights in a row. Jay Perrin coming off. If you listen to the way that he trains and the people that he trains with, I think he's at Sanford MMA. He trains with the best of the best there. He's going to be ready for this fight. I understand the power and the danger that the Mongolian murderer brings to this fight. But Jay Perrin, with his wrestling, you saw the murderer have issues with Cody Durden, right? And that was at 125. That was a 125 that was able to control him on the ground. I think that's the path to victory for Jay. And I think that it's I don't want to say it's such an easy path to victory, but it's such an obvious path to victory. It's hard for me to ignore that in a fight like this. I think Jay comes in, shows, that with a full camp, he can be much more ready. And if this fight comes down to pressure, pace, and toughness, I'm going to choose Jay. Because even in that fight against Bautista, when he was getting ragdolled a little bit, he was still reversing positions. He was still fighting back. He was still fighting back short notice, and he showed some real toughness in that fight. And if this comes push to shove and comes down to toughness, you know how I love my tough dudes. Nate the Train, we showed how tough that dude is with the lock of the week. I think this could be the same thing with Jay Perrin, where he's getting beat up a little bit early, kind of flips the script on the murderer, and is able to take the second and third rounds of this fight. So I'm gonna go back-to-back dogs here, and I'm gonna choose Jay Perrin.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I agree with you with the toughness piece, and he's not necessarily just gonna roll over, but I think Corey Lang's just had some tough matchups. I think he's the overall better fighter. I think he hits harder. I think he's the more technical striker. I think he's the overall better fighter, and all he has to do is not get taken down. Right, I think you agree. All he has to do is not get taken down.
100%. Yeah, he's the more powerful guy. Yeah, everything you said was exactly right.
Yeah, and I broke down Jay Perrin. So I used to manage professional fighters, as some of you know.
Isn't it Perrin?
And I don't know. And he fought a
You've
guy.
You've just completely given up on the enunciations.
I managed a guy, Regivaldo Carvalho, who fought Jay Perrin.
Wait, say that name again? Hold on. Wait, what was that?
Oh, they call him Hedgie.
I know, but say that again. That was most
Regivaldo Carvalho. He's anyway. He fought Jay Perrin a while ago. So I did all my research years ago. Watched that fight live and all of that. So I'm just comfortable with the fact that I don't think Jay Perrin's going to get Corey Lang down. Therefore, I think Corey Lang wins. Better striker, more powerful striker. I think he gets it done.
The hell was that?
I dropped something. I don't know what. Oh, my contact solution to fix my dry ass eyes. $8,500 to $7,700. I do think $8,500. If you are on my side and you agree that Corey Lang's the better fighter overall, $8,500 is not a bad price point. It's not a bad price point. It's right there, middle of the road for the most part. But if you're with Jacob, you think the underdog's live here, or he can just wrestle and hold Lang against the cage.
I wouldn't. I picked Jay Perrin. I still don't like that $7,700. I mean, the murderer is a little bit too dangerous, and he really kind of needs to get those takedowns. And even if it's takedowns, I think it's more controlled than anything. I don't love that. If it was like $7,400, I think I'd like it a little bit better. But I don't like the 77.
No, I agree with you. I think I personally like Corey Lang at this price point, but I'm not sure if he'll be in my lineup just yet. Monkey Knife Eye strike line 75 to 48. I think it probably is a more situation because keep in mind it's every single strike. So if Jay is trying to hold him against the cage and trying to get those takedowns, a little pitter patter against the cage all count. Every little tiny strike counts. What do you think of that Monkey's Knife Eye strike line since you're ignoring me and doing the group chat?
I know. Somebody said, Angelo, who's the best fighter most known that you manage? So I just simply said, Angelo managed himself when he fought under the name Butterbean.
Anyway, Nick Newell. Done. End of question.
What? Monkey Knife Fight? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I said more because
more.
It's every tiny little strike, and Jay holding him against the cage is going to get pitter-pattered. You want to take your stab at that? Go to weonpicks.com/MKF. And if you want to become a premium member, weonpicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. We now have a DraftKings optimizer. You can build up to 150 lineups and do all the things that an optimizer does for the same great price as $10. We're just going to keep adding features and never raise that price. weonpicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top.